A military convoy speeds through the empty roads of Las Vegas, escorting a heavily secured steel container. At the same time, just outside the city border, a young couple is busy taking photos beneath the "Welcome to Las Vegas" sign. After snapping their shots, they happily drive away, far more focused on each other than on the road. Meanwhile, the soldiers in the convoy are relaxed, chatting over their radios without paying much attention. As fate would have it, the lover's car and the military convoy cross paths. Both drivers are distracted, and finally, the violent collision sends the mysterious iron container flying off the truck. As the dust settles, a group of soldiers rushes over to secure it. But before they can even touch it, the massive box creaks open on its own. Two soldiers sprint into the darkness, but something is hunting them. A terrifying figure leaps forward, ripping the jaw off one of the men and tearing into his flesh. Moments later, the fallen soldier rises again, no longer human. The towering zombie leader looks out toward the glowing skyline of Las Vegas. And with that, the nightmare begins. An extermination squad attempts a rescue operation and manages to find a little girl trapped in the ruins. But during their escape, chaos breaks out. One woman is seized by a swarm of zombies. Then, as the girl tries to save her, a massive container crashes down from above, killing everyone in an instant. And finally, Viva Las Vegas. Las Vegas! The story shifts to a small diner, where a worn-out chef named Scott watches the news about an upcoming plan to bomb the city in order to wipe out the undead. Suddenly, a wealthy Japanese businessman, Tanaka, arrives to meet him. Tanaka reveals that he knows Scott once saved the Secretary of Defense during the outbreak. Yet instead of medals, Scott ended up flipping burgers. Tanaka then reveals his real reason for being there. $200 million still lie untouched in a Las Vegas casino vault. He wants Scott to assemble a team, not superheroes, but a skilled squad, to break into the quarantined city and retrieve the money. If successful, Scott will receive $50 million to divide however he wants. Tanaka hands him a puzzle-like blueprint of the vault's lock system and leaves the offer on the table. Outside the city, a fenced-off quarantine zone houses displaced survivors. There, a volunteer named Kate looks after families preparing to relocate. She talks with a woman named Gita, who begs Kate to ensure her children reach the Barstow Quarantine Center if anything happens. While they speak, Gita points out a smuggler named Lily, who has been secretly guiding desperate people back into Las Vegas. Many who follow her return with cash, enough to buy their freedom. But Kate warns her that most who go and never come back out. At that time, they also met a guy named Bert. They get bickering, and Bert has their suspicions. So he checks both of their temperatures and tells Kate that her temperature drops by 2 points, teasing about becoming a zombie. After he goes away, Kate says again to Gita that going inside is too risky, and she finally understands. In Scott's past, it is seen that his wife has turned into a zombie. He holds her and finally, he has killed his own wife, while Kate has seen it all. After he wakes up from his nightmare, he calls Tanaka and says he accepts the job. After that, Scott meets his comrade Maria. Scott invites her to join his team, and also his friend Vandero later. If the mission is successful, they will get $15 million each. Together with Maria, Scott goes to a swimming pool for the elderly. There, they meet with Vandero, and he joins. Next, Scott and Maria meet Peters and offer her $2 million. She joins, participating in the job is not far from the helicopter thing. After that, they meet Guzman, who is a YouTuber. His video shows him shooting zombies up to a double headshot, and then a triple headshot. As for the closing, he says to his audience to click like and subscribe to the Ultima recap channel. Thinking he is good, Scott offers him $500,000, and he joins. Next, he meets Dieter, who is an expert in unlocking things. Scott offers him $250,000 for breaking the safe, and he joins. After forming the group, they gather at the meeting place with boss Tanaka. It is seen that there are 2 additional people from Guzman who joined, named Damon and Chambers. Tanaka then briefed his mission. He says that they can't fly to Vegas due to restricted airspace. but there's a rescue helicopter that leaves from the top of the tower that can take them back. If they have arrived at the casino, they have to find a generator to turn on the casino's electricity. As for the safe, it is located in the underground of the casino, but before that, there will be some obstacles along the way. They have 32 hours before a nuclear bomb will be shot into Las Vegas. So while Peters prepares the helicopter, they have to load the money into the helicopter, then fly into the sunset. But yeah, suddenly, Damon thinks that the mission is dangerous because it's related to zombies. Guzman says, "You say that if you see zombies, you will kill them." He says, "It is just gibberish." In the end, he doesn't come along and says that this mission can make people die. Then, there's one person from Tanaka named Martin who joins the team, claiming that he knew the ins and outs of the casino. The next scene shows Kate in Barstow, and she meets with Scott. Kate looks still angry about her mom, who died, but Scott asks her to do one thing for him. He will give her all of his $15 million share. With that $15 million, Kate can help the kids at Barstow. This makes Kate curious about the mission, and she wants to join. Then, it looks like Gita and her friends want to sneak into the zombie area. There, she meets Lily and wants to take a weapon from her, but Lily notices it. So instead, Gita asks for her help to let them into the zombie area. In the next scene, they are finally gathering in one place, and Kate has readied the bus to take the team. Maria says to Scott that this is a crazy way to make up with his daughter, to which Scott replies that she isn't joining the team and only takes them to the camp. On the bus, we can see Martin, who wants to talk to Chambers. The woman says she doesn't want to talk, and she frankly tells him that she doesn't believe him. At the camp, they meet Lily, while Kate's job is finished, so she's expecting her father to meet her at Barstow after the mission. Kate then goes to the tent and hears Gita's kids crying. They say their mother is missing. Knowing this, Kate goes to Lily and punches her. Kate says that she has brought Gita in. Lily says yes, because they want to steal the money from the casino. She just found out that Gita has 2 children, so if she had known beforehand, she wouldn't have brought her inside. She says that she has waited for Gita outside, but she hasn't come back yet. Knowing this, Kate says she wants to go in too with her father's team. At first, her father says no, but after Kate keeps insisting on going in, Scott agrees. Then, Lily sees Bert and says that they need one more person. She wants to take Bert by offering him $20,000, and he says yes. In the next scene, Lily opens the door, then they hear the sound of zombies and hide. Turns out it is
a goddamn zombie tiger.
After the tiger zombie is gone, Lily goes to Bert and asks to take his handgun. She takes it, and Lily shoots Bert's leg. Lily explains that the zombies know they are here, so they have to follow their rules. If they want to go further, there must be a barter, a sacrifice to show obedience. Maria says that zombies don't think. Lily says that these zombies are not what they expect. She's not talking about crippled zombies, but the other zombie. Vandero knows that those zombies are called alpha zombies. Lily says yes, and adds that they are smarter, faster, and more organized, and this place has become a kingdom for them. Zombies don't care what they do as long as they follow the rules. Then, Lily says that Bert really likes to harass women, so she shot him. Suddenly, there's a sound of a female zombie heard by them. They hide again, and that female zombie appears with a bodyguard. But because they are smart, Bert is not bitten. Instead, he is dragged by her bodyguard, and the queen zombie leaves. Kate sees Bert being taken to a place called Olympus. Lily adds that the place is where the zombies change humans to become like them. Knowing this, Kate tells her father that Gita must be there, but her father says there is still some time. They continue walking, and they are seen by one zombie above the head of the Statue of Liberty. Meanwhile, Bert is dragged to the headquarters of the zombies, and it turns out that the zombie above the Statue of the Head of Liberty is the boss of all the zombies. The zombie boss approaches the female zombie, who turns out to be the queen, and approaches her stomach, as if it turns out that the queen is pregnant with a zombie baby, and it is really true. Bert is stood up by him, and is bitten, turning him into an alpha zombie. Back to the team, they enter the hallway of the zombies who are sleeping, which makes Dieter. Lily says not to shine in their eyes, and they are now hibernating. To show the way to others, Scott put multiple green lights. At that time, Chambers really suspect Martin because Martin seems to be planning something. Feeling troubled by her suspicion, Martin throws the green light in the other direction so that Chambers becomes strayed. Chambers goes in the wrong direction. Then she sees one zombie that awakens and kills it silently. She kills another zombie, but that zombie's hand almost makes a zinc food container fall, but in the end, it really falls. This makes all the zombies awaken, and finally, at the exit, Martin closes the door and sees Chambers looking at Martin, making her get trapped with the zombies. However, it turns out that Chambers manages to get out, but is still being invaded by zombies. Seeing a lot of zombies, the other friends can't help, but Chambers is bitten. Then Guzman sees Chambers, and finally, the next scene shows that they have arrived in front of the casino. Inside, they find another blueprint to the safe. Scott says that Tanaka is sneaky, which means he has assigned other teams beforehand. He asks Martin if he knows about this, but Martin admits that he just found out about this. They then split up to do their respective duties, and Martin gave the access card to Dieter. On the roof, Maria puts on the gas, and Peter says, "What kind of helicopter is this?" Which indicates that the helicopter is really in a bad condition. Meanwhile, Lily and Martin, they guarding outside the casino and saw the zombie tiger in there. As for Scott and Kate, they refuel the generator, and Scott tells Kate that he still loves her mother. Kate says she never blames her father, but he never shows up after that and just disappears. Scott explains that when he comes back to her, she doesn't seem to want him by her side. Then, Scott says that in the future, he wants Kate to go to college, and he will open a new food truck to just live a life. Because of this talk, their relationship became better. After the electricity in the casino becomes active again, the other friends in a safe place start to kill the zombies in there. And finally, Dieter suddenly after killing all the zombies, Dieter opens the first door with a card. Then, he sees that there's been another team of robbers. Vandero sets a bomb, while saying that the robbers can be them in the multiverse or at a different time. And boom, back to Lily and Martin, who see the zombie queen again at her bodyguard. Martin is seen installing a grenade bullet when the zombie queen runs to Martin, and he shoots the zombie with a long rope to catch her. His bodyguard runs to him and pounces on him, but Lily shoots the zombie in the head. They then go to the zombie queen, and Martin pulls out a sharp thread. He is using it to slit the zombie queen's throat, while the zombie is screaming like she's asking for help. It seems the zombie boss hears his queen's voice in a room, and takes one hostage to eat, which turns out that there is also Gita in that room. After being slitting, the zombie queen's head is finally cut off. Martin says that he will take her head to his boss, because this is a power to multiply and also to control the zombie army before he puts in the bag. Back in a safe place, Dieter says that there are some kind of floor traps that will activate if they step on them. Vandero seems to have an idea, so he goes back to the first floor, carrying one zombie to be used as an experiment to walk toward the trap, but the zombie doesn't want his, so Vandero brings another zombie and bakes a zombie's hand. He makes the zombie smell it first, before he throws it towards the end of the hall. The zombie walks and steps on the first part of the trap, which turns out to be arrow shots. Then the second trap is rifle shots. And finally, the last trap is and finally, they're feeling safe after that. In the next scene, Scott and the others see a news report that the nuclear bomb will be shot more quickly, right at sunset. Scott immediately tells Peters that the bomb has been moved more quickly, while he is still working and fixing the helicopter. Scott and his friends then go to the safe place, and Vandero says not to make any noise. Dieter says to everyone that they have made him fail to open the safe, and he has to do it again. If it's wrong again, it will lock forever, so he needs a moment of silence to concentrate on the unlocking. Back to the zombie boss who sees his queen's head is gone. There, he hears the queen's stomach, which seems as if their baby is dead. Next, Scott and his daughter see that the emergency door is still open, so Kate keeps the door open with a zombie hand in there. Friends see that there's a lot of money scattered on the floor, and take it all. Lily throws a pack of money to Scott and smiles at Kate. He says that this is the most money he's ever held. As for Dieter, he hears the sound of the door opening sign and says that he's done it. At that time, Lily is planning to move the money counting device to Martin's bag in the back, which contains the zombie queen's head. They open the safe and, finally, meanwhile, in the zombie place, the zombie boss brings his queen's body, and he opens her belly to take the baby, which turns out to be already dead. Back in the safe, Scott says to Maria that this is like their old days. However, Maria seems bothered by his statement, which turns out that she doesn't come for the money, but she confesses that she's here for him. From this conversation, it seems that in the past, Scott and Maria had a special relationship. Then, Scott sees that Kate is gone, and he starts looking for her. We can see the zombies have come out, and it turns out that Kate is hiding behind a car wreck, which indicates that she wants to save Gita, who is being held hostage in Olympus Place, and she manages to run into it. The zombie boss put on his protective helmet and ordered his army to attack. While the zombies enter the casino, the zombie tiger chooses to wait outside. Scott is still looking for Kate, and he finally knows where Kate is. Maria won't let Scott go out alone by touching Scott's cheek. When the elevator opens, the zombie suddenly grabs Maria's head to turn her head 180 degrees, and finally, she dies. Immediately, Scott has to kill all the zombies, but there is one zombie that is too agile for him. Finally, he manages to kill the agile zombie by crushing its head against the wall. They start to run away, and Lily takes Vandero's chainsaw, but Vandero and Dieter see the zombies that are going to enter their place. They realize that they haven't taken the money yet, so they choose to return to take as much of it as they can. While running away, Martin tells Guzman to guard the corner. However, Martin did that so he could go out through the emergency exit alone and close the door. In Lily's face, Martin says that he doesn't care about the money. The one in this bag is worth more than the money in the safe. He also says that he will kill the helicopter pilot and run away with the helicopter. Meanwhile, the zombies have managed to get into the safe. The zombie boss has also entered the safe place with his army. When Lily is seen sawing the wall to get out, Vandero and Dieter shoot the zombie boss, but it doesn't work, so Vandero invites the zombie boss to a duel. However, Vandero loses against the zombie boss. Vandero is about to be bitten by him, but he is saved by Dieter, and finally, turns out that Dieter saves Vandero from the safe place, while he's being captured by the zombie boss. Back to Lily, who is still trying to break through the wall, with Guzman's help to hold the zombies. And finally, Lily manages to break through the wall. As for Martin, he feels how light his bag is, so he opens it, and finally,
Damn it.
this means that Lily has managed to trick Martin by changing the contents of his bag. He is then beaten by the zombie tiger. He looks helpless, and the zombie tiger keeps pouncing on Martin's head until he's dead. In the casino area, Scott tells the others to run up to the elevator. However, they have to kill zombies that hinder them while they're trying to escape. In the middle of shooting zombies, Guzman tells Scott to go, but unfortunately, he is bitten by a zombie, so Scott immediately tries to keep him away from the zombies. Realizing that he will turn into a zombie, Guzman does this. Guzman sacrifices himself, while Scott and Lily manage to escape with the lift. The zombie boss arrives at the casino area, then sees his army on fire, and knows that Scott is on the rooftop. On the rooftop, Scott notices the helicopter isn't ready yet, so Peters asks for another 30 seconds, and the zombie boss is already on the rooftop. Lily opens the bag, which turns out to contain the head of the zombie queen. She threatens the zombie boss with a handgun, aims at the queen's head, then tells Scott to run away. After the helicopter takes off, and Lily sees it, the zombie boss throws a spear at Lily's body, but Lily finally chooses to drop the queen's head down, and finally, the queen's head is crushed. After the zombie boss sees the helicopter flying away, he wants to bite Lily, but the scene is never shown completely of her being bitten. Peters asks about the money. Then Scott has to reply that all the money is gone. However, he asks for her help to find Kate at Olympus, even though the time they have is short. At that time, it is seen that the zombie boss and his army follow the helicopter. The next scene shows Kate, still looking for Gita, and she manages to find Gita, but she doesn't know that Bert, who has turned into a zombie, is there. When trying to run away, Gita's friend is bitten by the zombified Bert. Kate tries to shoot at Bert and manages to hit him with a headshot. That incident is heard by Scott when he's already at the Olympus. The zombie boss is seen first arriving at their place, so Kate holds the zombies, while Gita tries to open the door. Fortunately, Scott manages to open the door for them to escape, then he wants to fire the grenade launcher at the zombie, and finally, they go back to the rooftop, but Peters has left them, but they hear the sound of helicopters, which turns out to be Peters, who doesn't leave them. At first, Peters wants to leave and want to save himself, but his conscience emerges, so he gets tired and goes back to them. They enter the helicopter with the zombie boss already behind them, and finally, Scott tries to shoot the boss, but he continues to be held by him and accidentally shoots at Peters. They see that the nuclear rocket has launched, which looks like the ending of the Resident Evil 3 game. Kate sees a fire extinguisher gas cylinder, so she takes it and hits the boss. Scott takes his handgun, but he is bitten by the boss. The nuclear explosion blinds everything. Scott takes this opportunity to take his handgun, and finally, the nuclear shockwave makes Peters out of control, and finally, Tanaka's boss sees the nuclear news and is confused that there is no contact yet from Martin. In the next scene, Kate wakes up and sees an iron piercing through Peters' body. Kate cannot find Gita, which indicates that she is dead too. Then, she sees her father is still conscious, which means he has already planned the food menu for the food truck later. He gives Kate a wad of money and says this can get Gita's kids out of the camp. He says he loves Kate before he turns into a zombie, and finally, Kate becomes sad when a helicopter comes behind her. In the ruins of Las Vegas, it looks like Vanderohe is still alive with the money he takes, which indicates that he has survived the nuclear blast because he was pushed into the safe by Dieter. Vanderohe keeps walking until he finally finds a house with a car. He gets in a car and heads to Utah. There, he sees a plane and tells the staff in there that he wants to charter the plane. The staff replies that it's a private plane, so Vanderohe takes out a lot of money, and the staff starts smiling to help him. Vanderohe is already on the plane and drinking with his flight attendants. But Vanderohe looks like he's about to faint, and the staff says that his skin is cold, so Vanderohe goes to the toilet to wash his face. He sees himself as looking injured, and finally he sees it turns out that his arm is bitten, which he may have obtained when fighting with the zombie boss. Army of the Dead movie ends with Vanderohe hearing the pilot's voice, says that he has started the landing process to Mexico City, and finally, Vanderohe says, watch other movie recaps by clicking on the screen on the left.